Hey everybody, Dan here for Argo Comics. It is time for our indie haul. Of course, we at Argo Comics not only produce our own books, we do support the indie community and pick up a bunch of the indie books. I guess because people know that I am a weightlifter, I will indeed lift this month's books. Ah, this is even a feat for myself. All right, here are the indie books for this month. A number of which we will start are Argo Comics releases. Um, so any of our friends who are on Facebook already, or Twitter, or Instagram, already saw that we have some new releases here. Teen Machine, okay, number 1. That is a cover by Alan Goldman with inks and colors by Alan Faria. So this is actually a collection of the Teen Machine stories that appeared in the Argo Comics anthology, which was a 6-issue miniseries. Okay, it had 3 Teen Machine stories, so those are collected now for the first time. Greg Warrenchak did 2 of those stories, with Elton Tomasi doing a third. Miguel Marcus supplied the colors on those, and basically the Teen Machine, as the name it would imply, is a group of teenage superheroes, a little more lighthearted than perhaps some of the other super teams within the Argo Comics universe. Again, we had that cover that I pointed out, and let me just make sure who provided the colors here for. We had a second cover by Alexander Nascimento and colors by Giuseppe Pica. Okay. So let me see if I can point these people out. There's Bolt, the super speedster of the Teen Machine. Jax, who's agile and can throw exploding jacks. Blackburn, who can shoot a black fire, as you can see there. Molly Magnet, oops, right there. She has magnetic powers. And T-Max, he is the super strong brute of the team. Okay, same people who are on the other cover. And it's a little larger size because we had the 3 stories plus a number of pinups in the back. As always, I always loved Brad Green's take on that, which that was actually a cover for the Argo Comics anthology, but I included it here as well. Okay, so that was the Teen Machine. We had that one come out. We had Argo 5 number 30 was released. Okay, so Argo 5 issue 30, we finally got to the origin of Chain Reaction. So this completed the origins of the team. Cassira was back in issue 2. Blue Dynamo, I believe, was issue 6 that had the Rob Liefeld cover. Issue 19 had Shazarath's origin, and I believe it was issue 27 that had Gladiatra's origin. So this brought us to Chain Reaction's origin. Okay, in issue 30. This was a cover by Michael L. Peters. I love that neon that he achieved there. So he did that cover. And we have a second cover. Oops. Get my fingers out of the way. Second cover by Ron Williams, who's done at this point, a good amount of work for Argo Comics and Argo Comics Thunder Zone, which again, if you're following the Argo Comics social media, you'll know what the Thunder Zone is all about. Let me just make sure. Yeah, cover colors were by Giuseppe Pica, as I suspected. Okay, so this gives us that origin of chain reaction. Zilson Costa is the artist who drew the interiors with Diolima coloring, and really, I don't want to get too spoilery here. Well, actually, I'll just show the first page because Chain Reaction's origin is tied to Lucha Libre, or Mexican wrestling. Okay, so that's pretty much example of Zilson's fantastic art, Diolima's amazing colors. And this is actually lettered by Francisco Zamora. A little bit of his lettering. So overall, very happy about this issue. Have a great group shot here by Gilbert Monsanto. Many on the web are familiar with his amazing work. This was a bit of a score for me, as actually people who read Argo 5 might see a little bit of an influence for like Justice League International or Justice League Europe. And the artist of Justice League Europe, Bart Sears, was one of my favorites. And he rendered Shazarath there in our pinup section. So we have a Bart Sears Shazarath pinup included in this issue. So just a really fun story. Again, we finally learn a bit more about Chain Reaction and his mysterious powers that we always see and don't really know what the background is about them. So that was issue 30. And issue 31 starts us on a two-parter. Here's a standard cover where, again, people who follow Argo Comics, they might recognize that's Argo 5 facing off with the Death Squad, which is another team in the Argo Comics universe. And since we only have half the members on that, we have the other half of the members here fighting on this cover. Okay? So it's MC Wyman cover with colors by Giuseppe Pica. And this is an Alan Faria cover with colors by Alan Faria. And Alan Faria does the interior of the book. So he does the story here. Along with Roberto Ribeiro. Okay? And colors were Alan Faria. So pretty much, again, Argo 5 facing off with the Death Squad. Why is that happening? You would read the book to find out. Actually, we were talking about Ron Williams before. Here's the third cover. Okay, also available. And that pretty much has the full teams squaring off. Okay, so again, if you go to Indie Planet to order anything, this will be cover A, cover B. Okay, and you can put them together for one single image, or cover C, this will fall under. Okay, so let's see if I could show some interior work. It's a nice kind of Death Squad shot by Alan. Really love his work. As I said, he was inking and coloring this amazing Teen Machine cover by Alan Goldman. So, you know, that story was done a little while ago. This was done more recently. I continue to have a great relationship with Alan, who hands in spectacular work. All right. I should make mention that the Argo 5 issues are reviewed on the Dark Avenger C86 channel, and they're going to be having, I believe, their 500th episode tomorrow, or today by the time you're seeing this. So I know they have a spot holder on that already. I'm going to include that that link rather, the URL in the comments. And I think it already has the time set for 9 o'clock, I believe. So you'll be able to see a review on this origin of chain reaction during that show. But again, I'll post a link in the comments for everyone to be able to see that. All right. This was a Kickstarter. Okay. The Oswald Chronicles, Fallen Gods. Okay. It follows the adventures of some people, but also this mouse. And it is pretty much a sword and sorcery type of tale. There's number 2, number 3, and number 4. Okay, J.D. Calderon is the mastermind behind these books. It also came with a bunch of cards and stuff, part of the Kickstarter. Okay, and you'll see here, that's the company Dreamweaver Press that puts this out. And actually, Argo Comics historians might know that Dreamweaver Press is the company that published our first 2 publications ever. Before Comix, we had 2 pinup books, Argo Comics Pinup Special, Argo Comics Pinup Spectacular. I made the convention circuit with those books. We had a lot of great artists within those, Bill Mouse, Tim Vigil, Tim Tyler, a lot of great work, and because of the rarity of them, they are going for pretty big money up on eBay and Amazon. My friend Johnny actually just sent me the link to an eBay seller who had it for a large amount. So I do have some of those left somewhere in the house. But at any rate, that was, again, if you're a fan of like Mouse Guard or fantasy anthropomorphic stuff like Antarctic Press, then you might really enjoy this Oswald Chronicles. Okay. All right, now we get into, this was from Indie Planet, where I print my own books. I also make regular purchases there. And we had this iHero Imperium. I like the look of those 2 characters on the cover. Okay, there's a long list of creators involved in this. Ooh, look. John Jones back cover. Okay, John Jones does some really impressive work. He'll actually have a pinup in the Thunder Zone's first Kickstarter book, being Nature Man, which I mentioned on a video, Facebook Live video. All right. Who's involved in this book, though? iHero Imperium. We had a number of people. Okay. Chester Colston, Philip R. Williams Jr., Samal W. McNeely, Tim Harris, Raymond Sanders, Gabe Smith, James Bethel, and Terrence Baker. Those last two names usually form the B Brother Comics, which I've mentioned here before. So the artwork varies in different styles because you have these different artists involved. But it's really some good stuff. And as I said, I was interested in those characters. I wanted to check it out. So I ordered a copy. And there you have it. My Hero Imperium, number 4. Talking about books that you can get at any planet. I got 2 here from Angry Bear Press Group. Steel Wolf. Okay, this is Eric N. Bennett's line of books. And I first came, I guess, familiar with this Steel Wolf character on DeviantArt. So it says Ashcan, but it is a full-size comic. I'm not that big on the smaller size comic, but it's a full-size comic. Basically, it's an introduction to the character. Okay, that's why it says the issue 0, and perhaps that's why they said Ashcan, because shouldn't be expecting like a story in this. It's more like art and preview art. And here's some art by Mitch Ballard, who I had gotten, he was actually in those pinup books that I mentioned way back. So he did the covers for those pinup books. Mitch is a great artist. He included, I believe this was a page from another Kickstarter book, I think called Titan, that came out a while back. I pledged to it as well, and he pledged, Eric must have pledged for the cameo level, so he got that part, that appearance in that book. Clint Holinsky, yeah, that was the gentleman who ran that Titan comic, Clint Holinsky, who I had followed in a number of other books that he had put out way back. Always liked his work. He's very versatile. He's still big on Kickstarter. Oh, we have some Gilbert Monsanto artwork in there also. Okay, and there's Thunder Woman, who actually makes a guest appearance in Argo 5 number 41, which is our Kickstarter guest starring issue book. The other book from Angry Bear Press Group, Tyrannus the Thunderlord. Again, people who follow Argo Comics may know that I have a character, Thunderlord, in Impact International. So this is not to be confused with that Thunderlord. This is, I guess, Tyrannus the Thunderlord. So you can, and again, it's a 0 issue, so you shouldn't be coming to this one for a story so much as for just a preview, like some faux covers. It's a popular thing on the net, especially DeviantArt, where people make covers of books just because they enjoy that. There's an illustration by Leo Gondam, who is Argo 5's regular artist, starting with issue 37. Okay, you just saw 30 and 31. 32 and 33 are at the printer already. So 37 is coming up, and Leo is our regular artist as of that point. You can see his fantastic work right there. And then you even get like a handbook style entry in this. So good stuff. Highly recommend it. All right, talking of Kickstarter books as I did before, here's one, and I talked of Alan Goldman doing our Teen Machine cover. Alan Goldman fans will want to get Tribulation Task Force, which has another cover by Alan Goldman. He really does a spectacular job on these big team shots. So, okay, we had, again, Kickstarter, some trading cards, postcard in there. Okay, Bill Raup is the creator of Tribulation Task Force. And we had some art by Ruli Akbar, Luis Rivera, who I'm familiar with, does some great work, and Bill Merriman. Colors Paria Pillai, who actually does quite a bit of colors for myself, and show you a bit of the interior work. Again, I always like to try to get something that's not too spoilery. Here's a nice little team shot. It's a big group. Okay. Bit more of the interior art. Okay. So again, it was on Kickstarter, especially with that cover. I figured I would check it out. Okay, and Starcross Comics. That's the name of the company putting out that one. Okay, another Kickstarter. Go with this one. Frontera, Flash of Dawn Codex. Okay. By A.J. Kincaid, who put out books under another nom de plume some years ago, and it was characters who actually guest starred in Argo 5 number 3. So I've known AJ for a while. He had this new project. He had teamed up with Mick Emshin, who does fantastic work. So knowing that he was doing the covers and the interior, colors by Eve Orozco, letters by Eric Foster. So, yeah, knowing Mick Emshin's work, I was down for this. And I tell you, he's a talented artist. And I think he would have to be, because the costumes of this team are quite elaborate. And, sometimes when you see such elaborate costumes, you know you're not going to be able to just get any artist to do your book, because anyone who makes a very elaborate costume has to do so with the realization that you're going to have artists drawing this time and time again. I mean, George Perez was famous for making some very detailed designs that almost only he can pull off. So let's see what the okay. Let me just make sure of something here. Where's the other book? Ah, yes. Didn't really even realize it at the time. Starcross Comics. Starcross Comics. So Tribulation Task Force and this Frontera are both in the same company. Okay, now I know. So Another, let me just put this back in the bag here. Another Kickstarter book, Yuli's Vision. Okay, I just like the look of the art. This was a cool, it was one of the covers. I just got it as a postcard or a mini print, whatever you want to call that. Let's see, Yuli Vision, does it have a name of a company anywhere? Well, it does have the name of creators Jacob Stem, author, Chad Heinrich, pencils, Valentina Todio, colors, Julie Stem, editor-in-chief. Okay, Tiffany Heinrich, editor. So it was a nice looking book, art-wise. Okay, again, Kickstarter. Showed some previews of it. I like the look of the art. Trying to show you a little bit of artwork here. Yuli's Vision. Get the character. No, there's a character. Bit of art. I like the look of it. So, picked this up and haven't given it a read yet, but it did look good. All right. Now, try to pick up the pace here since we still got a lot of books. I'll go with, these are Boundless. Okay, they were tied to Avatar, I believe, in the past. Boundless. Some of them are a little more mature reader. Here's Unholy. Okay, I usually, with all the Boundless books, I usually get a Christian Veneer cover. Christian Veneer does a lot of the artwork for this company, and I always try to get a bunch of his covers. Okay, so he had this Unholy, Argent versus Onyx, #0. Threshold Allure, #3. And let's see. Well, this was another Threshold Allure book. So again, Christian Veneer, great artist. I'll open one of these up again, try to show something not too spoilery, not too adult. Here's just a bunch of pinups, different people's takes on this character. But again, let's see, do they have mature reader? Yeah, mature reader. So just keep that in mind if you're ordering it for the kids. Let's see. Now, on Indie Planet, you have, okay, same creator. He has two different company names. Face Value Comics, ABC. Okay, I knew him as Sky Owens from his past publications, like Nightshade, back in the day. I think that was Antarctic Press when it was originally out. Might have went to another publisher, and now he's doing his own stuff all through Indie Planet. So you had Nightshade Book 1. You had Clash. Okay. Steam Punched. thrilling third issue of Zeron. I think my favorite flipping through these was this Just a Girl. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, here's his name even on this one, because I don't always see it in the credits here. I don't think it's zooming in well, but Tim Tyler is doing the inks on a lot of, I'll say Sky Owens, because that's what he used to go by. I think now it's Preston Sky Owens. It's doing a lot of the inks on the covers of these. So that's why these covers are so impressive, because Tim's art, as well as his inking, is really out of this world. And I really, as I said, this cover is very cool. You can see Tim's influence on that one. So I'll just recommend the books as a whole. The ABC Action Bunny comics, again, that should have parental advisories on them. A little more mature reader, while the face value comics, like the Steam Punched, I believe they are more general audience. I'll just give a little look-see here under, as the preview art. Again, Sky Owens, phenomenal artist. All right. This I had picked up issue 1, so a lot of times these days people know I just go for the trade. Ahoy Comics did this Wrong Earth. Okay, it was kind of like a grim and gritty hero switched places with his kind of optimistic Earth 2 Golden Age style counterpart of another universe. So they were both in the Wrong Earth, and Jamal Igle is doing the art. Okay, Tom Pyre doing the writing, Jamal Igle on the art. So I liked it enough to pick up the trade, and Jamal, I go way back with actually getting one of his first commissions when he was on the first convention he ever did, the Nassau Coliseum, years ago. So he had done a Blue Dynamo pinup that was in one of the Argo 5 issues, not sure which one. And, whenever I see him at conventions, I always try to catch up with him. So this is his latest. He's known for Molly Danger, I guess. That's his latest. And I guess continuing in that universe, on their free comic book day, Ahoy had this Dragonfly Man. Okay, it seems like the same type of concept, where you got a grittier Earth and the optimistic Earth, and they're switching spots. That was one of my free comic book day comics. Another free comic book day, My Hero Academia, which is a cartoon or an anime that I greatly enjoy. So you can see Deku in the front there. This is, let's see, I haven't even busted this open. See if, uh-oh, yeah, it is, I think it is backwards, like most manga. Because the cover is on the back cover. So you gotta learn to read it backwards, left to right. Okay, but it is Deku up front, and his mentor All Might. All Might being or he was the #1 hero in the My Hero Academia universe. Again, a really enjoyable TV series if you haven't caught it. There's another free comic book day book Tick. Yeah, on a Tick motorcycle. Okay. Yeah, Tick. I watched the Amazon series, watched the cartoon, I watched the network TV show. I was buying the book back when Ben Edlund was doing it. Luckily, met Ben at a convention and got an original Tick sketch from him way back in the day. Glad to see that Tick is still around, and just one of my favorite indie superhero humor type characters. Or actually, in humor, it's probably the Tick and Milk and Cheese come to mind as probably my two of my favorites. All right. Copra, round 5 is a trade paperback. Okay, now it's Image. It used to be Bergen Street Press. And actually, I initially picked up the earlier issues of Copra at Bergen Street Comics before they were distributed anywhere. And Michel Fife is the creator of Copra. I did it in the showed these books a while back in the indie halls. Kind of his love letter to the Suicide Squad, the John Ostrander age Suicide Squad. So this continues that saga. I mean, 5 volumes, so you know it's somewhat popular, especially since it now went to Image. So you know that it's gained some popularity. He also did recently a Bloodstrike miniseries for Rob Liefeld's characters. So yeah, Michel definitely has his own style. Well, maybe I should show a little bit of that. But Copra is his kind of like homage, creator-owned imprint, and not really a standard style you're going to see in a big 2 book, but still kind of inventive nonetheless. I gotta pick up the pace here. Got this Punchline trade paperback because it's Antarctic Press. I think I got a couple of issues in single and just said to myself, I need the trade of that. So a lot of times I'm just getting trades these days, but very high production value in this. Let's see, Bill Williams writing and Matthew Weldon doing the art. They're both co-creators. With some art by Brian Denham, longtime Antarctic creator. And yeah, the art is looking very good. So again, it's another book that I'll be interested to eventually get some time to read through. Antarctic Press also put out this Jungle Comics. Kind of like that cover. So I picked this up. Chuck Dixon doing the writing. Kelsey Shannon doing the art. Looked good, so I picked it up. Antarctic Press. When you talk about Antarctic Press, you have to talk Gold Digger. Okay, Gold Digger, along with Ninja High School, my favorites of Antarctic Press. 263 of Gold Digger. See, I thought I was doing good with issue 34 of Argo 5 at the printer. But then again, I don't have, this has, I guess, major distribution. So as a self-publisher, I'm doing pretty good. But here, you see what it's all about, just in the world of indies, with Gold Digger reaching 263. Fred Perry doing the art. Again, I don't even draw my book. He's doing his art, colors, letters, and he's doing the whole rigmarole. It is a manga title. So American manga, as Antarctic Press had labeled themselves. Fred Perry just has a great style. Gina Diggers and Brittany, the Were Cheetah, two main characters within the book. Let's see, this was, okay, pick up any Black Hammer books. So this is Quantum Age from the world of Black Hammer. Jeff Lemire, who's the creator of Black Hammer, the writer. Wilfredo Torres doing the art. Yeah, I've been picking up all the Black Hammer stuff. I mean, they've noticed that Black Hammer gets a good amount of exposure and it's been, somewhat critically acclaimed. Well, much like Copra, it is more of a homage than a purely original creation. You can definitely tell which characters are which. Reading Black Hammer. Oops. I was trying to show some art, but finger was in the way. But it's still very enjoyable. As I said, I pick all the books up. I do see that they're crossing over with Justice League, which I'm not so sure I'm really in favor. It has a good indie feel going now. I'm not sure how well the concept gels with the Justice League, but I'm sure I'll still be picking up the trade anyway, because I like Black Hammer and I like Justice League. I'm just not so thrilled about those two intermingling. Recently I had read some Dynamite omnibuses, and I saw that they solicited this Green Hornet omnibus. It was a big chunk of reading. I had read, which was that? The omnibus that had from Alex Ross with all the public domain characters. I'm kind of blanking for some reason. Project Superpowers. Project Superpowers, I picked up that omnibus, really enjoyed it. Lone Ranger, I really enjoyed. So this is just another Dynamite omnibus. Some pulp fans may know Green Hornet as the great grandnephew of the Lone Ranger. A little indie trivia for you. So, Matt Wagner, Aaron Campbell, and Dynamite. Okay, so Matt Wagner, famous for his creation of Mage. Or famous in the indie world for his creation of Mage. So, again, been enjoying their omnibus collections. Decided to get another one. And speaking of Lone Ranger and speaking of Dynamite, we had this Lone Ranger, The Death of Zorro. Just two characters which I enjoyed. The old TV show and movies of these two characters. So it seemed like for my money, a better intermingling of concepts rather than like Planet of the Apes and Green Lantern, which doesn't work for me. So I wanted to see the interaction of these two. Figured it'd be a good story. Lone Ranger Death of Zorro. And lastly, this was, who put this out? Active Image and Comicraft and Image put out. It's part of a Masters of Comic Book Art. I'm not a big hardcover fan, but I think this will not come out in softcover. J. Scott Campbell, Time Capsule. Really enjoy J. Scott Campbell's work, and especially some of his earlier stuff, like the Gen 13 books. So this kind of had a lot of his art from those earlier days. A hardcover, so it's kind of hard to show you anything. It's mostly text and a lot of his work in pencil, ink, prelims. If you're a big comic book art fan and a big J. Scott Campbell fan, then I think this is a book you're going to enjoy. Goes into Danger Girl as well, which of course he's well known for. A little Spider-Man action there as well. I mean, I'm sure most comic fans are familiar with J. Scott Campbell's work. And this was just like a hardcover that, as I said, I'm not really big on hardcovers. If I have hopes of something coming out in softcover, I'm probably going to wait. But I did pick this up. All right. So again, Dark Avengers C86 is going to have that 500th episode on YouTube. I'm going to put once I post this, I'm going to put the link in the comments. And that pretty much does it for all our indie books of June. I better get on it a little earlier in July so we don't have quite as many books. It won't take us quite as long. But if anyone stuck around to the end, thanks a lot for watching the whole thing. Make sure you subscribe to the channel below for your new broadcast about what is coming up with Argo Comics, and also for these indie reviews, or hauls rather. So that about does it. Thanks for stopping by. Keep coming back to the Argo Comics channel.